I saw very clear, intelligent eyes looking back at me that were hopeful, that were very hopeful and even excited about their future. As I look at the students that are here, and that's what this is really about, the young people, I see a good future for Maryland, and I see a good future for this country. The key, however, is that we are standing together, and that's what this conference is all about. My speech, General, was much longer than this. I've done 4 of the 21 pages, but that's enough for me, because we want to hear from our community. We've also announced a process of zero tolerance for disruptive and violent students, and we're bringing together a whole series of programs so that the teacher has the ability to participate.
Now, at Roosevelt High School today, we really thank Principal Boarman and the others for allowing us to participate. Now, if I may, let me underscore that we're privileged.
Like Eleanor Roosevelt, violence is still very much with us, and that's why we must be about strengthening this
across the country. Jarrett, why don't we begin with you?
Okay, my name is Jarrett Alexander. I'm a senior here at Eleanor Roosevelt, and I've been involved in several local and national mentoring initiatives. And from my experience throughout these different programs, I found that a lot of what is going on with these students is that there's a lack of parental support at home. These kids aren't getting the type of base that they need to be successful in life because they aren't getting the guidance initially to get out here and deal with the problems that we face every day in society. And one of the things that I think is most important in combating that lack of support is for us as high school students, for us as adults, to provide that support for those who aren't receiving it at home. Like I said before, I'm involved in several mentoring programs, and a lot of what we do is show those kids positive role models so that they can see somebody that looks like them, that dresses like them, can relate to, so they can see that they can actually be successful. And another thing that I would think that needs to be implemented is that programs in the elementary and middle schools need to target these types of problems that we're talking about today with high school students. Kids are facing these types of problems a lot earlier on. I'm sure some of the adults know these types of things weren't worried about at such an early age. So at this point, with all the pressures that kids go through today, I think that we need to start implementing these programs targeting violence prevention and drug abuse prevention elementary and middle school, so that by the time that the problem gets to the high school level, it isn't a problem anymore. Kids already have that background and that base so that they can deal with the things that we deal with every day in this society. Also, I think that peers are the best group of people to speak with youth and to instill the same type of values that adults do. I think oftentimes adults approach kids with these messages and they feel like they're being talked down to, that they're not really cared about, and that their needs and their wants aren't really addressed. And the message takes on a whole different perspective when you have somebody that they can relate to, somebody a little bit closer to their age group to talk to them. It's been my experience that when kids and adults say basically the same thing to other youth, the youth take on a much more receptive attitude and speak with people that they can more so identify with. And I think that that's really important. I'd like to applaud everyone assembled today that are doing the types of things that they need to do to prepare. I'd like to say that it's important not only for us to look at the problems that we're facing, and not only important to talk about potential solutions, but this conference needs to go much farther than just today. This needs to be the beginning of changes that are going to be seen clearly throughout our schools and our community through the near future. Thank you.
Jarrett, thank you very much. I can't think of a better way to get started than to hear from a 17-year-old senior at this school, our host in some ways, to bring us such a concise and profound message. And Jarrett, we'll get back to you with discussion and questions in a few moments. Fountain is the mother of a teenage son from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and she became involved
morning, students, staff, invited guests. I take this opportunity on behalf of you, the students of Eleanor Roosevelt, the faculty and the parents, to welcome the President, the Vice President, General McCaffrey, and also Mark Anders, your Student Government Association President. It is indeed an honor for us to be holding the White House Youth Leadership Conference on Drug Abuse and Violence. It is indeed appropriate that it's being held at a high school with ethnic diversity, throughout our building, and a willingness on your part to make efforts to be part of the solution to the problems. It is indeed comforting to me to know that from a national perspective, we are going to look at drug abuse, one of the most endangered areas that we have to look at as our youth, and drug abuse is causing us problems as not in the past. I want to assure you, as your principal, that I feel very comfortable in this national initiative, and I want to